Hey everybody, welcome to Newbie Thrift. I'm Mike,
And I'm Rob.
and we're part-time resellers. We've been doing this for a few months and thought we'd share with you some of the tips we've learned along the way, and also tell you a little bit more about what we hope to do in these videos. And I think we should start by telling why we're doing this, why we got into part-time thrifting. Okay, Rob, why did you get into part-time thrifting?
So I'm a video game collector, and I was going through a bunch of stuff in the attic, just like everybody else during the pandemic. And I found a box of games, some very old school retro games. And not only did I want to play them, but then I thought, well, let's just see how much they're worth on eBay. Turns out quite a few of them were worth some money. So posted them on eBay, and they sold pretty quickly. So then I thought, well, I do want to do some more collecting. So why don't I start, going to Goodwills and, some of the thrift stores around the area just to see what I could find. And that's kind of how I started getting into thrifting because, I was looking for stuff for my collection, but also looking for stuff to sell as well to fund my collecting.
Yeah, I think for me it was a little bit more broad in that I was already selling some things on eBay as more like regional food items. Wasn't making a lot of money, but it was something that was keeping me busy and I wanted to expand. So what I focus on is a little bit more besides the games. I look at things what has value. And part of what we want to do in these videos coming forward is we came into this not knowing what to determine was valuable, walking into a Goodwill and trying to figure out, okay, what here is something that would resell. And we're going to go over some of that with you, some today, some in some of the future videos. But I think we've learned a lot in the last few months doing this, and we hope that you'll share with us and we can grow in this together as we go on this thrifting journey. It's kind of fun. I think for me, part of the fun, you've talked about this before, is that thrill of the treasure hunting. Because when we go in, for those that are getting started, basically what we learned was that you use the eBay app, and there's on iPhone there's a camera feature. And so if you press that camera feature, you can scan an item, scan the barcode, and you can see what it's going for on eBay. And so we went at it from that angle, not just games, but some other items. And we'll talk about those a little bit more, of some things that we'll share with you that we found and sold. But it was just interesting. It was almost like that rush of what treasure are we going to find today? Because I found when we would pull into a Goodwill, we'd be like, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I never really went to Goodwills before I started collecting, and now it's like something I look forward to. So, when we pull in the parking lot, like Mike said, I mean, there's like a rush of adrenaline because you never know what you're going to find. I think one of the first things that I ever found, which got me excited, was a Bose wave radio. And I knew that Bose stuff was nice, but I guess, not everybody knows that. And I think I got it for about $24, 24.99, something like that. And I ended up selling it for over $100. And I thought, wow, like that was pretty easy. Maybe I can do this more often and fund my collecting habit. So it does provide some excitement.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, during the pandemic, we both have friends and family that have lost their jobs and things of that nature. And the extra money's nice, but it really can turn into a decent income for you. And so when I've had friends or family members that are unemployed, I've kind of shared with them what I've done that just keeps some money coming in. I mean, for us, we both have full-time jobs, so it's not our primary source of income, but it's kind of fun to do something you like and then make money doing it. And so that's some of the things we want to share with you today. I think one of the items that I found, and we'll put it up here, is we went to a Goodwill and I found right after Christmas, it was this Dillard's train, the Christmas train, and it was like $30 with sales tax. It ended up being something like 32, and as you can see here, it ended up going for 6 days later for about $118, and then they paid like $28 shipping. And so to turn that kind of money just in a matter of a few days off of one little purchase, I would have never imagined that. But I just used my my eBay app, scanned the barcode, and I'm like, wow, this is worth some money. I think another one that I kind of laugh about is one of the things we learned what to stay away from was we were at a Goodwill, and I came down the aisle and there was this glass case that had this porcelain doll in it, just sitting in the floor. It wasn't on an actual shelf. And we've nicknamed her Annabelle. For those that don't know, really porcelain dolls are something you should stay away from. They don't move a lot. They'll sit in on eBay for an extended period of time. And when we got this home, Rob's immediate thought was, we call it Annabelle because of the movie where the creepy doll turns crazy and tries to kill you in the middle of the night.
And it's locked in a glass case,
yes,
which is exactly what he bought.
Yes. So we put Annabelle on. We actually kept her in the garage at night because it was like, no, she's not staying in the house. So I thought, I'm not going to get rid of this doll. And she was like $3.99. And it took about a month, but
$3.99, right?
$3.99. And here's the picture of Annabelle. And so listed her for originally, I think it was like $18.95. Ended up selling her for $17.95. And the person that bought her was so excited. She thought the doll looked like her. She sent me a picture, and it was just one of those things that I was glad to get rid of her. I'll stay away from porcelain dolls, but we'll share some other items we found along the way.
I was also glad because now our house isn't haunted by spirits.
That's true.
and I think I've told him that we can't have those kind of things in the house anymore because, we don't want to die in our sleep or something scary like that.
No, but there's plenty of things that we found. I mean, later in this video, you'll see we went to a Goodwill one day last week on a Tuesday night, and some people you'll find they'll go on the weekend, everything gets picked over. It's hard to find good things. But if you go, we work 9 to 5, and so after work we loaded up, hit like 3 Goodwills. You'll see that video of what we found. And there were some things in there. There's a saw we're going to show you that you found for $15.99 that the comp for it in eBay was over $100. And when we talk about comps, it's basically we go into eBay and we when we scan an item, there's a filter on the right hand side, and we'll scroll down to items sold. And that's very important because you're going to need to see, just because something's listed for a certain amount doesn't mean it's going to sell for a certain amount. And so you could see kind of the comparables of what items are going for on eBay and what's sold really in the last 90 days. So remember that when you're going on your eBay journey.
Yeah, and we're kind of blazing through a number of topics right now, but we're probably going to go into a lot of them in depth in later episodes. Really one of the reasons why we wanted to start this channel is because we wanted to teach new people like how to do this, how to get started. And, we definitely didn't know what we were doing when we first started, and we still kind of don't know, but we're learning things along the way. So, we may talk about a few things here and there that you might not understand, but in a later episode, we're going to really get in depth on some of that stuff.
Yeah, and you and I talked about this too, is I'm going to do a video on one of the things I learned that was a big deal breaker really in a lot of the items that we've gotten was learning shipping. Because it's not just a matter of walking into a post office and handing them a package and paying for shipping. It will kill you on some of your listings. So you really need to understand shipping from the get-go. And so I'm going to do a separate video just focusing on shipping, where we talk about things like flat rate boxes versus regional boxes, and I'll get into that in more detail, and we'll have that video up in a few days as well. And I know you wanted to share a video about games, about how you go about cleaning.
Yeah, just about, it's easy to pick up games at Goodwill and resell them, but I like to clean them up, make them look as new as possible, and I'll show you some tips and tricks on how to make them look a lot better than you might find them, the condition you might find them in. I've even bought a resurfacing machine to kind of remove some of the scratches on the discs so that when you're selling something on eBay, instead of saying it's in acceptable condition, you might be able to say it's in good condition. And all of those little things can help you actually make some more money. So,
Yeah, and something you use, I mean, we use eBay a lot. We go to other stores besides Goodwill. That seems to be the main one we focus on. But in your video, you'll also talk about, besides eBay, you use something called price charting.
yeah, price charting.
And so you can share with that in your video about that's going to focus on games, how you go about really understanding if it's something that's worth the time. Price charting, I won't go into too much, but it has what it's selling for and what trade-in value if you took it to a GameStop or something like that. So we'll talk about that more. Okay, so some of the things that we wanted to share is just basically a couple of things we found that were of value and to show you what they ended up going for. One of the things I sold was a set of Nancy Drew books. Found these at a Goodwill. There are 56 books. Got them for, I think it ended up being $62. They sold 8 days later for, I think it's $124. And so it's a huge return on investment. It's something I was really shocked to come across and was surprised that it turned around so quickly. But you've had a couple too. So what about Godzilla?
So I found this Godzilla game for Xbox at a Goodwill, and I was all excited because it's a kind of a rare game. A lot of the kind of classic superhero monster type games are actually kind of valuable, so you might want to be on the lookout for them. So I was all excited, opened up the case, and it didn't have the disc inside. So it immediately deflated me, and I was bummed because that probably would have been a good $40 game that I just found for $250.
But it worked out.
It did work out because I actually ended up finding the game disc in another case at the same Goodwill. So it pays to kind of go through, open the cases, look at what they have, because people move that stuff around all the time. And so I ended up getting the complete Godzilla game for $250, and I sold it for, I believe, $42.50 on eBay.
Yep, check it out.
Check it. So what else did you find?
Well, I mean, I think something the verdict is still out for me on is I'm looking for things that have a high return on investment with very little to put into it. So something I'm trying is I've been searching Goodwills, and so far I've found like 5 different sets of old china. And the reason the verdict is still out on it is these are super cheap. I mean, you might get 40 to 60 pieces from anywhere from $10 to $30 for the collection. So I have 5 sets. I've been breaking them up and selling the plates and the butter dishes and things like that. And I had one set, the first set I did right off the bat. The butter dish alone went for like $14 and I only paid $11 for the whole set. And the plates and everything sold quickly. The other 4 sets, even though I checked the comps and everything, they seem to be moving a little slower. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about the dishes yet. That's going to be something. Stay tuned for future episodes. We'll see how that goes. And it's one of those things that we're learning along the way. But something of value that I wasn't aware of was that in selling the dishes, I found out that these vintage old Pyrex dishes, these things were like from the 70s that were brown or different colors, actually sell for a lot of money. And we would pass these at Goodwill and be like, why did they even bother to put that out on the shelf? Because it's just not something you would think anybody would be interested in. And actually some of those bowls, especially if they have the lids, could be worth anywhere from $20 to some of the older ones from the 50s that are blue or turquoise. Some of those are going for 60, 80 bucks per dish. And so that's one of the first things we check out when we go into Goodwill. So I talked about a little bit about the dishes. What was your other find?
When I first started looking for stuff, for video game stuff, I would often walk by those Guitar Hero controllers because I didn't think they were worth anything. I probably have some upstairs in my collection that have been collecting dust. However, they are actually quite valuable. I think I learned this on a couple other thrifting channels that I follow, and we'll probably talk about them too because we've learned a lot from them. Um, so it was a Nintendo Wii Guitar Hero controller, and I think I got it for $5.99 at Goodwill, which might seem like a lot for like a toy guitar, but I ended up selling that for $49.99 on eBay. And I mean, it was an easy flip because the Wii Guitar Hero controllers, they actually come apart. So instead of having this big long guitar that you have to ship, you can take the neck off and actually put it in a small box. So the shipping was pretty easy on that. So now I'm on the lookout for guitar controllers as well.
That's great. That's great. Actually, I think now would be a good time to just share some of the things we found. I mean, let's talk about what we got last Tuesday going to Goodwill. Preface this by saying this was an unusually good haul. We usually can hit two or three in a night, and we might not come away but one or two items. But this week we found a lot, and so we'll share some of that stuff with you now.
So we went to Goodwill on a Tuesday night. It's usually a little better to go on a Tuesday night than on the weekends. So we'll show you a few things that we found. I've had some luck with puzzles. This is an example of one of the ones I found. This one was 99 cents. They go pretty good. They've usually we can resell these for anywhere from 12.99 to 15.99. And here's another one that's Harry Potter. The comps on this one were more like 17 to $19 and just paid 99 cents. So it's a good return on investment. So some of the other things we found were like this Under Armour backpack. It's $3.99. It's in good shape, clean, something that should flip pretty easy. And the comps on this one was $15.99. And something else here, you'll see these dishes. What I found is some of the old cooking dishes go really well, and especially Pyrex is worth a lot. But these are Corningware, and each of these were $5.99. They're a set, looks like from the '70s, but they will they'll resell for around $32.99. So they need some cleaning, but once I get those cleaned up, we'll list those and move forward. Some of the other things we have are controllers. These are some Wii controllers. It's always good to get those at Goodwill because it's a lot cheaper than trying to order them online. And you'll see another huge stack of puzzles. The Ravensburger puzzles, there are about 7 of these. They're $1.99 each. These are premium puzzles. These go for more than some of the average puzzles. So each of those are in good shape, $1.99 each. They should go for about $17.99 to around $20. Next, we have a couple of Wii's for Goodwill. These typically go around $25.99. They are easy to clean up, flip pretty well. This is something Rob spends a lot of attention on, and it seems to be more of his focus. So you also see here we've got some cords and some other controllers. Once again, Goodwill is a good place to get those. Some of these are $5.99. They might be $12, $15, $17 with shipping if we bought it directly on eBay. Something else that was a find this time was these Guitar Hero guitars. Um, these were $5.99. These sell quick. That was something we've learned throughout this, that something like that goes pretty easy. It was something we passed over when we first started, but now we've learned that these are something to be on the lookout for. Just shipping gets a little tricky, but we finally figured this out. And this saw is probably going to be our find of the week. We got this one, I think it was $15.99. Looking at the comps on this one, Rob found this one. If it's works and is in good order, this one may go over $100. So that's a definitely one that we'll share with you in a future video once it sells, so you can see what it finally went for. And next is this Xbox, $25.99. It's another one that didn't have cords, so we're going to have to do some cleaning on that, get some cords, and it'll be ready to go. And also, Rob really focuses on games. Here's a stack of games. The color of the week this week at Goodwill, if you're familiar with the half price for the color of the week, was orange. And so a lot of these games were half price. So that's going to help us on a return on investment.
So we shared with you what we got this past week at Goodwill, and what we thought we'd do is take you along with us. We actually went earlier today to Goodwill, and you could see what we kind of look at when we're going into a Goodwill. I'll start out by saying this clip you're about to see is really I go to the game section first, or to the toys. One thing I found that's worth some money is jigsaw puzzles. At Goodwill, those go from anywhere from 99 cents to $1.99, sometimes $2.99 if it's brand new. And depending on the brand, Ravensburger and White Mountain are the two that have the highest resale. And so those I've sold those used from anywhere from $15.99 to I've sold one for $28.99. And so I go those first. I didn't find puzzles today, but I did find this other game, and you could see that. But you found something. What did you?
Yeah, I found a Guitar Hero controller. I think it was a blue one, and we'll show you in the video. And it was an Xbox Guitar Hero controller, which I barely ever find. So I haven't actually looked up the comps on that. I'm hoping that it's worth as much as like the Wii Guitar Hero controllers, but it was in good shape. It was $5.99. And I also found an Xbox 360, which is the game system before the Xbox One. So I guess two generations of Xboxes ago. But people are still interested in that stuff. And that Xbox 360 was $15.99. So,
And about how much does that go for usually on eBay?
I mean, if it has the controllers and the cords, usually about $60.
It's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not bad return on investment. Well, let's take a look at that, and then we'll come back. All right, we're on our way to Source.
Robbie Rob in the house.
Goodwill, here we go. Okay, we just arrived at Goodwill. Seeing what kind of deals today is a kind of a special day with our local Goodwills. They do a 99-cent tag. For this week it's orange, so we're going to be looking for any orange tags to get a deal.
It'd be fun. We got an Xbox. That's cool. That's pretty lucky. Another guitar. That's a nice one.
This is an Xbox One.
Okay, this one.
Oh, wow. Sealed?
Sealed.
Cool.
Cool.
So you saw a little bit about our trip today. We hope in future videos to take you along with us to be able to see what we're seeing when we go into a Goodwill and what we're looking for. So if you like this and you want to follow along in this journey with us, then
Like and subscribe.
And we'll do more of that in some of our future videos. But in the meantime, we hope that you learned something today. We'll hope that you follow along in our journey as we're learning things. We hope to learn from you as well. And I think that's going to do it for today. So guess what?
We're out.